authoritative statements, and has in it the element of trust in the writers and speakers, and in the trained intelligences of the workers in any of the many and varied fields of thought. The truths accepted as such have not been formulated or verified by the one who accepts them, lacking as he does the necessary training and equipment. The dicta of science, the theologies of religion, and the findings of the philosophers and thinkers everywhere color the point of view and meet with the ready acquiescence from the untrained mind, and that is the average mind. Then, secondly, we have discriminative knowledge, which has in it a selective quality and which posits the intelligent appreciation and practical application of the more specifically scientific method, and the utilization of test, the elimination of that which cannot be proved, and the isolation of those factors which will bear investigation and are in conformity with what is understood as law. The rational, argumentative, scholastic, and concretizing mind is brought into play with the result that much that is childish, impossible and unverifiable is rejected and a consequent clarifying of the fields of thought results. This discriminating and scientific process has enabled man to arrive at much truth in relation to the three worlds. The scientific method is, in relation to the mind of humanity, playing the same function as the occult method of meditation, in its first two stages of concentration, and prolonged concentration or meditation, plays in relation to the individual. Through it right processes of thought are engendered, non-essentials, and incorrect formulations of truth are ultimately eliminated or corrected, and the steady focusing of the attention, either upon a seed thought, a scientific problem, a philosophy or a world situation results in an ultimate clarifying and the steady seeping in of right ideas and sound conclusions. The foremost thinkers in any of the great schools of thought are simply exponents of occult meditation and the brilliant discoveries of science, the correct interpretations of nature's laws, and the formulations of correct conclusions whether in the fields of science, of economics, of philosophy, psychology or elsewhere is but the registering by the mind, and subsequently by the brain, of the eternal verities. And the indication that the race is beginning also to bridge the gap between the objective and the subjective, between the world of form and the world of ideas. This leads inevitably to the emergence of the third branch of knowledge, the intuitive. The intuition is in reality only the appreciation by the mind of some factor in creation, some law of manifestation, and some aspect of truth, known by the soul, emanating from the world of ideas, and being of the nature of those energies which produce all that is known and seen. These truths are always present, and these laws are ever active, but only as the mind is trained and developed, focused, and open-minded can they be recognized, later understood, and finally adjusted to the needs and demands of the cycle and time. Those who have thus trained the mind in the art of clear thinking, the focusing of the attention, and consequent receptivity to truth have always been with us, but hitherto have been few and far between. They are the outstanding minds of the ages. But now they are many and increasingly found. The minds of the race are in process of training, and many are hovering on the borders of a new knowledge. The intuition which guides all advanced thinkers into the newer fields of learning is but the forerunner of that omniscience, which characterizes the soul. The truth about all things exists, and we call it omniscience, infallibility, the correct knowledge of the Hindu philosophy. When man grasps a fragment of it and absorbs it into the racial consciousness, we call it the formulation of a law, a discovery of one or other of nature's processes. Hitherto this has been a slow and piecemeal undertaking. Later, and before so very long, light will pour in, truth will be revealed, and the race will enter upon its heritage, the heritage of the soul. In some of our considerations, speculation must perforce enter in. Those who see a vision that is withheld from those lacking the necessary equipment for its apprehension, are regarded as fanciful and unreliable. When many see the vision, its possibility is admitted, but when humanity itself has the awakened and open eye, the vision is no longer emphasized but a fact is stated and a law enunciated. Such has been the history of the past and such will be the process in the future. The past is purely speculative from the standpoint of the average man, and the future is equally so, but he himself is the result of that past and the future will work out of the sum total of his present characteristics and qualities. If this is true of the individual, it is then also equally true of mankind as a whole. That unit in nature, which we call the fourth or human kingdom, represents that which is the product of its physical heritage. Its characteristics are the sum of its emotional and mental unfoldments, and its assets are those which it has succeeded in accumulating during the cycles wherein it has been wrestling with its environment, the sum total of the other kingdoms in nature. Within the human kingdom lie potentialities and latencies, characteristics and assets which the future will reveal and which in their turn determine that future. I have purposely chosen to begin with the undefinable and the unrecognized. The soul is as yet an unknown quantity. It has no real place in the theories of the academic and scientific investigators. It is unproven, and regarded by even the more open-minded of the academicians as a possible hypothesis, but lacking demonstration. It is not accepted as a fact in the consciousness of the race. Only two groups of people accept it as a fact. One is the gullible, undeveloped, childlike person who, brought up on the scripture of the world, and being religiously inclined, accepts the postulates of religion such as the soul, God and immortality without questioning. The other is that small but steadily growing band of knowers of God, and of reality, who know the soul to be a fact in their own experience but are unable to prove its existence satisfactorily to the man who admits only that which the concrete mind can grasp, analyze, criticize and test. The ignorant and the wise meet on common ground as extremes always do. In between are those who are neither totally ignorant nor intuitively wise. They are the mass of the educated people who have knowledge but not understanding, and who have yet to learn the distinction between that which can be grasped by the rational mind, that which can be seen by the mind's eye, and that which only the higher or abstract mind can formulate and know. This ultimately merges in the intuition, which is the knowing faculty of the intelligent and practical mystic who, relegating the emotional and feeling nature to its own place, uses the mind as a focusing point and looks out through that lens upon the world of the soul. Man's three aspects. One of the main means whereby man arrives at an understanding of that great sum total we call the macrocosm God, functioning through a solar system, is by an understanding of himself, and the Delphic injunction, man, know thyself, was an inspired utterance, intended to give man the clue to the mystery of deity. Through the law of analogy, or correspondences, the cosmic processes, and the 11 nature of the cosmic principles, are indicated in the functions, structure, and characteristics of a human being. They are indicated, but not explained or elaborated. They serve simply as signposts, directing man along the path whereon future signposts may be found and more definite indications noted. The comprehension of that triplicity of spirit, soul, and body lies as yet beyond man's achievement, but an idea as to their relationship and their general coordinated function may be indicated by a consideration of man from the physical side, and his objective functioning. There are three aspects of man's organism which are symbols, and symbols only, of the three aspects of being. 1. The energy, or activating principle, which withdraws mysteriously at death, partially withdraws in the hours of sleep or of unconsciousness, and which seems to use the brain as its main seat of activity and from there to direct the functioning of the organism. This energy has a primary direct relation with the three parts of the organism, which we call the brain, the heart, and the breathing apparatus. This is the microcosmic symbol of spirit. 2. The nervous system, with its complexities of nerves, nerve centers and that multiplicity of interrelated and sensitive parts which serve to coordinate the organism, to produce the sensitive response which exists between the many organs and parts which form the organism as a whole, and which serve also to make the man aware of, and sensitive to, his environment. This entire sensory apparatus is that which produces the organized awareness and coordinated sensitivity of the entire human being, first, within itself as a unit, and secondly, its responsiveness and sensitive reaction to the world within which it plays its part. This nervous structure, coordinating, correlating, and producing an outer and inner group activity demonstrates primarily through the three parts of the nervous system. A. Cerebrospinal system. B. Sensory system of nerves. C. Peripheral system of nerves. It is closely associated with the energy aspect, being the apparatus utilized by that energy to vitalize the body, to produce its coordinated activity and functioning, and to bring about an intelligent rapport with the world in which it has to play its part. It lies back, if one might use such an expression, of the body nature proper, back of the mass of the flesh and bone and muscle. It in its turn, is motivated by and controlled by two factors. A. The sum total of the energy which is the individual quota of vital energy. B. The energy of the environment in which the individual finds himself and within which he has to function, and to play his part. This coordinating nervous system, this network of interrelating and sensitive nerves is the symbol in man of the soul, and an outer and visible form of an inner spiritual reality. 3. There is finally what might be described as the body, the sum total of flesh, of muscle, and of bone which the man carries around, correlated by the nervous system and energized by what we vaguely call his life. In these three, the life, the nervous system and the body mass, we find the reflection and the symbol of 12 the greater whole, and by a close study of these, and a comprehension of their functions and group relation, we can arrive at an understanding of some of the laws and principles which direct the activities of God in nature, a phrase sublimely true and equally finitely false. The three aspects of divinity, the central energy, or spirit, the coordinating force or soul, and that which these two use and unify are in reality one vital principle manifesting in diversity. These are the three in one, the one in three, God in nature, and nature itself in God. Carrying the concept, for the sake of illustration, into other realms of thought, this trinity of aspects can be seen functioning in the religious world as the esoteric teaching, the fundamental symbology, and doctrines of the great world religions and the exoteric organizations. In government it is the sum total of the will of the people, whatever that will may be, the formulated laws, and the exoteric administration. In education it is the will to learn, the arts and sciences, and the great exoteric educational systems. In philosophy it is the urge to wisdom, the interrelated schools of thought, and the outer presentation of the teachings. Thus this eternal triplicity runs through every department of the manifested world, whether viewed as